there's been so many different versions of this. We were going over the rumble strips that didn't play out super well. Drivers weren't happy. Made the modification back to an earlier design with a bit of a change, and now the tandem looks great.
All right, here we go. We got Shanahan and Field. Field initiating that first outside zone into that inside clip, a second outside zone. Now to that big outside zone 3. Shanahan, look at him jump up. He throws too much on it, has to back off. Field keeps a consistent angle through outside zone 3 into outside zone 4. Hammering down. There goes Jack Shanahan. You can see him just slowly working, inching, wiggling his way to the side of Matt Field. So just like that, getting thrown right into the heat of battle.
Yeah, this is super interesting, specifically if you watch the drivers' meeting this morning, because this exact moment is something that was in high contention, and Matt Field was very outspoken about his thoughts on the way that this should go, and he may end up becoming a victim of that. So let's break down what happened here. Matt Field, great initiation. First outside zone looks super solid. Jack Shanahan tight in the chase. Matt Field gets that inside clip. Jack caught up a little bit in the smoke. Matt now floating out to that third outside zone, and the question becomes there, is Matt lighting off the tires early enough, or did Jack Shanahan have to take a bunch of speed out and wait for Matt to get back on throttle? And as I said, Matt was a big proponent of that should, when we used a representative example, it should fall on the lead. They should be lighting up right away. The chase should be able to expect that. Matt Field, I would say probably 20, 30 feet in, not getting to light off the tires. So judges ultimately said, hey, we're going to do this on a case-by-case basis. We'll see how this ends up playing out. Rest of the run solid, but yeah, Matt Field taking a little bit of time to get lit off in outside zone 3. Jack Shanahan having to modify his his chase to account for that.
Coincidentally, Matt was one of the most vocal drivers in the drivers' meeting, and you know, we kind of had closed door policy. We've kind of opened the door most recently this season and said, hey, let's film these, let's share, maybe pull back the curtain a little bit and expose you to some of the conversations that go out there. And I think it helps educate for that, you know, that 1% that really wants to know all the finite nuances. Just we see that in any sport, if it's stick and ball or motorsports or shoot, pickleball, cornhole, what are the details, right? The devil's where they live. Here we go. Jack Shanahan out front, and away they go, Coop, as Shanahan and Field tip to tail, initiate into the outside zone. Big, massive angle towards that golf cart, as now going into that outside zone 3. And Matt Field, you can see him come on in, and big execution. Look at Jack, all the way out to the course edge, not lifting at all. Matt Field on the inside, and Jack gets involved with the dirt. Absolutely unhinged.
So this is another one of those scenarios too where Matt Field absolutely needs this win to stay in championship contention. He needs this. So look at Jack Shanahan, great job through the first outside zone. Inside clip could have been a little bit tighter to that. And then transitioning out to the third outside zone. Jack Shanahan on throttle right away, just absolutely crushing that entry to it. And Matt Field is right there the whole time. Now, outside zone 4, this is where it gets spicy. Look at the line Jack Shanahan is on. Matt Field with a little bit of a hip check there late through. That was this is a spicy run. I think Matt felt it a bit. I think he saw what was going on with Jack and was like, I gotta close this chase up.
Yeah, it looked like Matt went a little tight, or kind of exceeded the inside flipping point. Jack, consistent throttle all the way through. He did touch dirt right when he entered outside zone 4. He gets deeper in it. Matt applies the pressure, has to back off. So you saw him like, whoa, like check up. But again, Jack, you saw a little brown cloud when he entered, and that is flirting with disaster, because when you hit that dirt means you're obviously offline. And when you hit that dirt, the rumble strip shows up really quickly, and that could absolutely end you, spin you out. It could debead you. Even though that was his second run there, it could be catastrophic.
All right, so we're going to take a look at this BC Racing custom coilover side-by-side. Really, to me, who provided a better lead run? Pretty comparable up here. I think the determining factor, once again, is going to come down to 3. Matt Field had that bit of a slowdown into the zone, where Jack Shanahan absolutely all over it. So a bit of a cause and effect there with the chase. Outside zone 4, how does that play out? Matt Field maybe a touch shallow through the first part, but Jack a touch deep through the second part. This is going to be a tough one and absolutely crucial to Matt Field in that championship hunt. A driver that has been very and scarily close to winning it on multiple years, and it's always some crazy scenario that boots him out of it.
Yeah, the rain, the wet, just certain scenario. Just I mean, just such a dynamic driver now. You know, from the drift cave, his shop, to the cars he's building, to the way he does it. He does it his own way.
Yeah, another side-by-side. Judges really taking a deep look into this. So, I mean, on the chase, I mean, on the chase, a lot of this is Matt Field. Now, Jack does provide a really good opportunity for that, but Jack does, you know, he kind of gets back into it. It's very comparable. So we got a couple of mistakes for both. On their lead runs, chases were pretty comparable. This is a pretty tough one to kick off our top 16.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun one. Matt Field, you know, he holds the fate in his hands. The scenarios as they unfold, a lot of it is contingent on James Dean and his advancement. You know, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battles in to our top 16 to forge our grade 8. Slide him left for Field, right for Shanahan. One more time. More time. And I agree with that. Yep. You know, Masayama coming in and joining us in Seattle for the first time, and he drove the pants off that car. Absolutely, really well done by Masayama, but Rome Charpentier getting more and more just acclimated with that car, and we know what he's capable of behind the wheel. Masayama initiates. Wow, what a flick into that first outside zone, right on that inside clip, past the second outside zone. Masayama just found another gear, man, just going for it. Outside zone 3, RCP being left back there. Look at Masayama. I mean, it looks like he is a slot car, the way he's driving that thing. He does get involved in the dirt, but I mean, that looked fake. It looked like a video game, the way just that the stability of the car, the way it rotated, it was just like on a center axis.
Yeah, it absolutely snaps this car around. Look at that, loads it up, does a great job of floating it through. Inside clip looks good with some amazing forward drive all the way into our third outside zone, and that's how long it takes before Rome is able to get back into the action. Masayama just cranking through this. Now outside zone 4, so it gets a little bit contentious. Takes a minute for Masayama to get into the zone. If you are late getting into outside zone 4, you're almost surely to go off track because of the momentum you've got. It's a tighter line coming through there. You tend to V out that zone a little bit more than having that straight U. For Rome, I mean, pretty tough there. He got shook a little bit on the initiation. Does a really good job, though, making that dive in outside zone 4. And then right in here, I don't know. Yeah, there it is. Bit of a bump there from Rome, but both drivers staying in it, staying on track, and getting across the line. So fun run, very, very fun run. I like that Rome was able to battle back, didn't do anything too crazy, and stayed in this fight. But for Masayama, he is a man possessed. For someone who took that time off, he is crushing it. Yeah,
it is just really amazing. I thought he did well in the S15, but the way he stepped into this car and right out of the gate, don't know what changed because the S chassis is so competitive. Didn't know if it was maybe the VR power plant in the S chassis and that didn't work out for him. I mean, again, really haven't spoken to him much about the setup. He says, oh, you know, earlier with Lorette says some issues, but overall just getting to know the car more.
Yeah, and I mean, he was top 8 here in 2022, so he bodes well to this track, and I think maybe just the newfound opportunity, right? You get that little bit of adrenaline where you're like, okay, I'm back here, I've got this shot, I've got to do well. You know, everything leads up towards this, and I can't waste this opportunity. So I think some of it is that for sure, as we get one of our blowers out there to clean off a bit of a dirt spill.
Yeah, we got some dust here on track, and we know how much of a role that plays. We talked about it earlier in 32, and just through the entirety of the weekend, just when you slightly dust it, it acts like a shuffleboard. Just it gets a little slicker, you know, as Castro was talking about how grippy this track is. It just transforms throughout the day. You know, the sun is pretty hot, so it's going to remain sticky up until it drops just a little bit more, maybe in the 8 or maybe the 4. The temps will drop even more. But RCP, Rome Charpentier in the Garage Racing BMW. Masayama tucks in nicely. RCP goes into outside zone 3. Good momentum into 3. And look at that, Rome Charpentier using all of the track right to the course's edge. Now transitioning to 4. RCP a little bit deeper. Masayama works it back. Now both of them kind of dancing in and out. Masayama just a bit outside of the outside zone 4, but RCP crosses within that outside zone. He crosses the finish line.
Yeah, another tough battle. I mean, I know there's no lights here, but we might need some. The way this is going with that potential one more time, that's a very heads-up battle and really, really interesting to start to break down. So the previous one we had a little bit of an incident, a little bit of a contact, nothing crazy, but yeah, Rome doing a very similar entry to what we saw from Masayama, getting around that initiation bubble. Of course, lead driver cannot put a wheel through it, chase driver can. And then look at Rome, planted through 3. Masayama now able to slot into formation. Not able to quite keep the speed that Rome's got in the BMW. Outside zone 4, though, pretty tidy all the way through. And there's Masayama having to worm his way back into the side of him. Looked pretty good, but has to use a pretty big left foot brake. Get that car back around to angle, using that front wheel to pivot around, get the back end in to the side of Rome. Nice dive there from Masayama. Tough battle. Really, really tough battle.
Yeah, I think Masayama had a little bit better proximity. We'll see overall. I think some of the judges looking over their shoulders.
Cheating off the notes?
Yeah,
that's what you're doing there.
No, I'm not cheating. I'm just looking over the shoulders. Cheating would be not sharing. I'm just not sharing it just yet. Verdict here in just a moment, and slide him left for Masayama, right for RCP. There's one vote for RCP, and one more time from Vernon. RCP, Rome Charpentier gets the victory. Rome, a good overall battle, and that was a hard one to judge. And reflective of that is one of the judges going one more time.
Yeah, anytime you've got a bit of that split, you can tell just how tough it's going to be, and I expect this one to be another tough battle. Castro's on farm this year, and Trent Beecham, who had an incredible run here a couple years ago, and he looks in very similar form already this weekend, so he's done very well at this track.
Yeah, this track suits his style.
Yeah.
That full throttle commitment, not backing down, and once he does that, what's interesting here is how chasing, Castro. We talk about his setup at the beginning of the year, and it just seems like he's got just a new life. Like, it just seems like a different version of Jonathan Castro, and proof positive of that is his podium in Orlando. But Trent Beecham, like you said, has had success here before. I think it suits his style, but Castro's got a hot rod with that Toyota GR86. So Trent Beecham tracking him down in that LS BMW. Here we go, Castro out front in the, again, Toyota 86, now ripping into that third outside zone. More of a straight line approach. Need to see, there he goes, and throw some more angle at it. But that does allow Trent Beecham to have good proximity, and now diving in on outside zone 4. This is it. I mean, this is what we expected. This is exactly what I anticipated. He does have a fast car. Castro need to kind of throw maybe a little bit more angle at it, but that, again, allowed Beecham to be right there.
Just notice Rome's got a DD. That's interesting. Missed that on the last one. But yeah, let's get back to this one. Castro, flirting with danger with that initiation bubble. Comes out of that zone a little bit early, but does allow him to collect the inside clip and second outside zone quite well. This is where Beecham now punching through the smoke, getting into the side of Castro. He does a really good job of mirroring both the line and the angle of Castro throughout this. Now, a bit of car widths apart, but man, what a great dive there from Beecham. I mean, that's a risky move in that part of the track, and then not able to get quite as deep to the zone as Castro was, but does a pretty good job of it. Yeah, Castro getting really close to the line of that bubble. The wheel needs to cross over it for it to be an incomplete, so I think he was right on the edge of that, and this is where we see Castro start to settle in for outside zone 3. And now outside zone 4, we see this is where Beecham now starting to hunt him down. Castro comes out of it just a little bit. Judge is taking a real hard look, I believe, at the initiation just to make sure that Castro didn't cross over, because that is a pretty tight one there. But yeah, thankfully, judges up here, they got, maybe the biggest TV I've ever seen. And they've got all the different camera angles on it. That's got to be, what, like a 100-inch TV they got up here?
Yeah, we have a massive TV displaying all the different angles here.
Yeah,
all right.
It's we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 views that they've all got access to, and can kind of get the replays on that. So great setup here. They got their other monitors right in front of them, but with the sun coming in, it gets a little tough. That big monitor, though, it's in the shadows, and that's I would watch FD just like this. Just give me every camera angle and just watch it
just
out.
at home?
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, that's how I watch a lot of sports, all the camera angles.
All the angles.
Yeah.
Angle to dangle. Here we go. Trent Beecham. Trent Beecham will lead Castro, now giving chase. Second half of this battle, almost simultaneous. Trent Beecham, want to see that first outside zone. Don't know if Trent got out there. Castro just narrowly lets him by. And look at Trent Beecham, a little late to fire off, but I'm telling you, full throttle Beecham. On the bottle Beecham into that that final outside zone. That Castro was doing some sorcery back there. Did you like he was up here, over there, like he just reappeared in different locations. That was wild.
Yeah, he does a really good job of punching through the smoke. I don't know if it's an instinct or an ability, but for some reason when Castro gets buried in smoke, he doesn't panic and he does a great job of getting through. Yeah, Beecham nailed that first outside zone, a little bit tight on the inside clip. And look at Castro's transitions. He's mirroring and mimicking that angle and timing so well. Now, Beecham not all the way out on outside zone 3, does a great job. But yeah, Castro, man, his ability to get that timing is so good. And Beecham on a pretty tight line, though, through outside zone 4. Really only getting one wheel out, so that might be a big difference maker when we get into these replays. So, yeah, it's a tough one, though. But, yeah, just the way Castro is able to mimic the transitions are so quality. Look at this. Outside zone 2, great timing, nice and smooth. Maybe could have been in the pocket a little bit more, but does a good job of getting to that inside line and then fading back into the side of him. Yeah, Beecham just not all the way out to the zones. So, judges taking a really hard look at this run for sure, trying to make sure that everything is copacetic and above board. And yeah, the big question there on the first run was, did Castro put a wheel all the way through that initiation bubble? We're going with bubble. I think we gotta define. I think bubble works.
I think the bubble's absolutely, or I would say chicane extension.
Chicane. My only concern with that,
yes, sir,
is we allow a restart if you hit a cone in the chicane.
Ooh,
if that had cones. Yeah, that's all. That's my only concern. So this is what they're looking at. Did his wheel cross all the way in? That's tough. To me, it's in the shadow, but to me, the wheel is on it. And it just depends on how you want to define it. Like, does he need to be all the way clear of it? It's like one of those, did the football get all the way over the touchdown line? Did the hockey puck get all the way across the goal line? At what point is it a goal? When you can see space after? So we'll get a bit of clarity. I mean, we'll find out here in a second anyways, but that angle gives you a pretty good shot of it. That, to me, is him right on the line, although I heard...
Yeah, I'm over here, and Brian say he's on the line. And we're even recollecting Justin Pollock, who's now Odie's spotter. That came into play for him. He's bringing up, talking about championship implications of that. And, again, you got to treat that like a wall.
Yeah.
That, could we put a wall there? Of course, but it's easier. Respect it. Go around it. Go around the bubble and don't hit it. Don't flirt with it. You know it's there. Those are the parameters, and you got to play within the rules, man. I mean, this is the difference in a Super Bowl. This is the difference in a World Series. Just those little nuances. Every inch counts.
Yeah, and we'll get a quick clarification once the scores come in of exactly what the verdict is on that, because it will mean a lot. There we go.
Trenton Beecham gets the win unanimously. The topic at hand, or the task at hand for Matt Field is, if he loses, he is mathematically removed from championship contention. So Matt Field, it's a must-win for him if he still wants to be part of the conversation. So the one-more-time battle, Matt Field, Jack Shanahan. Field leaves through that start chicane, avoid the bubble, and keep on keeping on. Matt Field, the Borla performance. Corvette initiates Jack Shanahan. He is tucked in real nicely there into the pocket. Matt Field pulls away outside zone 3. Good angle from him. Now Jack Shanahan, you can see about a car distance from him. Now drops into that 4th outside zone. Field perfect placement from him. I mean, that was absolutely textbook and clinical for Matt Field, not leaving the judge's hand, saying, all right, I put the car in the right place. Jack, you do whatever you got to do out back.
Yeah, Matt made a big correction there from his previous run of that slow down into 3. I think it was still there a little bit, but definitely a lot better. Jack Shanahan all over him through these first couple of zones, and then Matt Field walks away from him going into outside zone 3. Jack holds things back a little bit, maybe expecting Matt to have that big slowdown once again, but he doesn't. And unfortunately for Jack, it means he's playing catch-up. Over angles just a touch. Matt Field out in the lead, absolutely crushing this run. So, great run there for Matt Field. Jack Shanahan, not the proximity we expect. The first part of it, this is all Jack Shanahan. This is what you expect from him all the way through. On the door, pushing the pace, trying to win from the back, and not able to really keep up. Even cutting that line a little bit, trying to gain, that parallel drive behind him, even though he doesn't have the proximity. But yeah, just a tough go. Matt Field finding the pace, finding the zone, doing a great job of it.
Want to send a shout out to the boys in Crandon. I know Vaughn Gittin Jr., Lauren Healy, Crenshaw, Jeremy, they're all watching at Crandon right now. They're off-road racing. I know Mad Mike's out there, a bunch of homies. So have fun and make us Drifting family proud out there, Vaughn and the Fun Haver and RTR off-road team.
Yeah, just getting word that they are getting their complimentary 5 because there was contact at the beginning of the run between Jack and Matt. So drivers requesting to take the complimentary 5. So this does not go against their other 5-minute rule. That is because we had contact without an incomplete. That then justifies them to be able to use kind of a free 5-minute timeout.
Yeah, the one allocated, or not, the one allocated competition timeout, you need to utilize that strategic. Oh my gosh, that was a bit of a tongue twister.
No, that's a tough one.
The one complimentary timeout. All right, we're just moving on. Matt Field, really good execution here. Could see.
Couple of taps.
Was that where the contact was?
Yeah, just going into outside zone 2. It looked like 2 or 3 small contacts, but I mean, for Jack, it's going to potentially bend a tie rod. For Matt, he should be okay, unless there's front wheel on front wheel, but either way, pretty tight.
All right, so as we are seeing a lot of beach underneath the cars when they go and hit that sand. Speaking of beach, let's throw it down.
He's able to fly one in for this, and brought over Lloyd, incredible tuner over on that side of things to set it up. So Lloyd's one of the best minds over on that side of the pond. So very interesting.
That's all right, Lloyd, let's see what you got. Or better yet, let's see what you got, Connor. As Dylan Dozer Hughes in that first outside zone, good execution, does escape that inside clip just a touch, and outside zone 3 goes both Dylan Hughes and Shanahan. Outside zone 3 tucked in nicely. All right, comes out of it a little bit, and the anticipation, and there, it just got a little squirrely there as Dylan Hughes gets a little squirrely going off course there, but just some shimmying, working it on in. I want to see different angles from this battle for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you just come to expect these transitions from Connor Shanahan in the chase here, but Dylan Hughes looking pretty good, does not get that inside clip, and that pushes him wide through outside zone 2, but he's able to collect things back up for outside zone 3, and look at Shanahan just right there with him. Gets into the door. Now, he does have that big left foot brake which pushes him back, but these transitions are just mind-numbingly good. Now, I don't know if there was contact that might have pushed Dylan Hughes a little bit wide. We might be able to see it now with the Justin Smash drone view. You can just see how that little bit of an overstretch on the inside clip is what puts Dylan on the wrong trajectory. And yeah, I just want to see this transition into 4. Come on, Justin, get in there, buddy. Oh, just a little door knock. Just a little bit on the front wheel, but it doesn't look like too much. Just painting the side of it. So it's a very Shanahan approach to things.
A very Shanahan?
Yeah, it's
a very Shanahan Christmas.
What did you get? What did you get for Christmas? A door. I got my door painted.
It's a very Shanahan Christmas.
Yeah.
I got doored, bro, and that's a compliment.
It is. It is a
when
huge
you get
compliment.
Doored by a Shanahan.
Yeah, and I mean Dylan Hughes.
It's like
so
me
stable.
kissing you on the forehead. It's a gift.
Is it? Okay.
It is. I don't kiss many dudes on the forehead. Just saying.
All right, gotcha. Yeah, let's leave it at that.
I got a photo from Vaughn and Lauren here, so they're watching.
I thought it was you giving Vaughn a kiss.
No, I sent
a
a photo back. Yeah,
okay. I wasn't sure.
It's a family show.
Gotcha.
So here we go. Shanahan will lead. Dylan Hughes will give chase. Connor Shanahan talking about his aggressive driving, and Dylan would love to reciprocate that gift.
And
right?
He will. Dylan can be very aggressive. He can be very aggressive.
He will.
He will.
You said that definitively. Yeah. Like, there is no doubt that Dozer's going to be banging into him. Come on, Dylan. Deliver. Jacob said it. Now do it. Dance. Here we go. It's slam dance. Going to outside zone 3. Attaboy, Jacob. Look at that. That's not the announcer's curse. That's the announcer's gift. Oh, but look at this. Oh, the transition. He was there too much. Oh, buddy, let's roll that back. Roll the tape, kids.
Yeah, this is
even Chelsea over here has a little Gwyn. He's got a little Gwyn going on him.
This is what I was afraid of is Dylan, and I don't know. I don't want to jump to any conclusions yet. Maybe there was another mechanical. Maybe something happened with Connor, because that is still a possibility. But my concern was that Dylan would get a little bit out of place and be too aggressive and not be able to tuck back. And we'll see. I don't want to jump to that conclusion yet. Let's take a look, though. Connor Shanahan, good job through 1, just touching that rumble strip a little bit. But, man, Dylan, great transition from Dylan Hughes. Look at this. Tucks in the pocket, bit of contact, and he's giving it back to Connor Shanahan all the way through here.
Back off.
But he did.
No, he's on the wrong side.
Yeah.
He was tucked in there.
Yeah, and I think there was a little bit of front wheel on front wheel contact as well. Same thing. Tough to tell right now. Every camera angle will expose a little bit more. I love the aggression from Dylan Hughes. But as you said, He needed to back out about here.
Back it up, Terry. He can't transition.
Yeah.
He can't transition. There's no way around it. Literally.
Yeah. He needed to give that space to Connor. I mean, they were still in the zone. There is maybe a bit of an argument to be made in the other direction that they were still in the zone. He could still be on his door. That wasn't the part where you transition. So Connor could have kept going out, but I think there was a fair bit of hits in there as well. So judges will be the call on that one. I always like to try and see both sides of the argument. But yeah, we'll see.
That's usually our role, you know. But I'm just saying that I'm kind of steering away from that. I'm just saying Dylan should have. The smart move would have been, without a doubt, just back up, allow him to transition, because if you impede on that transition, you're doing just that, impeding.
Yeah, my thought is that Dylan, they're still in the zone. So really the transition's going to happen near the end of that, but they were near the end of it as well. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a conversation still to be had. Very aggressive from Dylan. I really do like that part. It's backing out of it that you need to do. So the other part is, where it's kind of interesting though is it looks like Connor was kind of backing out of it partway through the end of the zone. So that's where, when it originally happened, I kind of thought like, okay, maybe something happened with Connor. I don't know if the
maybe Dylan's contact disrupted something too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a point where it's like you're chafing, and then there's a point where you're colliding. And there's a point where you're crashing. There's kind of degrees of contact. I know their spotters aren't. If there was some sort of mechanical on there, their spotters are not going to say it. No.
Spotters are obviously having conversations now, wanting to kind of plead a bit of their case. Matt's being very quiet, the spotter for Connor Shanahan. He's got a big grin on, though, so we'll see what's going on. And Dylan Hughes' father, his spotter over, kind of pointing like, hey, take another look at this part here. So their drivers are trying to get their point across, trying to make their argument. I just noticed the license plate there on Dylan Hughes. It's O'Reilly's. Great sponsor plug on that one.
Yeah, of course.
Saddle spot for
O'Reilly.
So yeah, judges kind of have to decide how this is going to go, and that will determine how the whole battle goes out. So be really, really interesting.
And as this is being scrutinized, we want to thank our judges right here, front and center. We got Reese Marin, Brian Egger, and Vernon Von Veld, our three judges here at this round of competition. Reese and Brian are for all 8 rounds, and then Vernon and Robbie are alternating for 4 and 4 in this season's championship.
Yeah, so this is a tough call for them. What they're going to be looking at here is, obviously there was a fair bit of contact. Did that disrupt Connor? Did Connor unwind it? He's not a driver I would put with somebody that just backs out of a situation like that. Normally when he's getting hit, he gets stoked. He's going to keep pushing. So if he ended up straightening out or shutting it down, there would be a solid reason for it. It's just what that reason is these drivers kind of having that conversation now. I would love to be a fly on the wall inside that car right now to understand what they're saying.
Aaron, get closer.
Oh, okay.
No, I think, obviously.
Dylan, hands on his head. So, I mean, that could mean a couple things. Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, look at that battle damage.
Dude.
I mean, you hey, fist bump, dog. You called, you're like, he's going to do it. I'm like, you sure about that? He did it, dude.
It's just pattern recognition. This is Dylan Hughes. When he feels like he's behind, he just goes all out. And that's great. That's great. It's just you have to quell that back a little bit.
And look at this. So Dylan did not. All right, we're definitely. I would love to get an explanation on this one.
To throw a flop.
Right.
He's also one. If he makes a mistake, he'll be the first guy to admit it. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the socials to understand.
Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Matt Field. Jack Shanahan leading. Matt Field chasing him into that first outside zone. Rips into that inside clip. Ripping the clip into that third outside zone. Jack places it properly. You see Matt tuck it in. Oh, and both of them are properly in that third outside zone. Approaching the final. How are they going to end this? Remember, this is the second battle. This is the one more time between Shanahan and Field. What do you think?
I think it was a good battle. Yeah, I think it was a good. Ooh, Jack getting crazy out there. Yeah, man. We'll have to go back to kind of the first part. We obviously had a bit of that contact. Jack, maybe a bit more of a shallow initiation, but then absolutely hugs it out. Great job collecting that inside clip and second outside zone. Transitioning back out. Matt Field's a little bit behind him. Jack Shanahan doing a great job filling third outside zone, getting even deeper through parts of it, and then through this transition, Matt Field just biding his time in the chase to make for that dive, does it, and then locks back in behind him. And there it is, Jack Shanahan coming through that line, and Matt Field very much in tow. Jack had a great lead run there, and Matt, he had a lot of patience between 3 and 4. Bided his time, waited to see what was going on, and then made a really, really good dive at the very end of that. So great job there. I think we'll have to see the first part of this, there it is, to really understand how this all played out. So lead versus lead, chase versus chase, but it's also a combination of those two things. Leads look pretty solid. Jack, a bit of an over-rotation in the chase. To me, right here, Matt Field's got the advantage in the chase. Coming through that third outside zone would have been our transition. Matt Field in closer right away. So I think this may end up coming down to the chase run. Solid run from both guys. Matt Field might edge him out a little bit on the total proximity throughout the entire run. So pretty tough there for these judges. Once again, they are earning their paychecks this weekend.
Yeah, this is I feel like it'd be fun if we just went through all the battles. We did another one, and then all right, what was to be our first battle is our last battle.
Yeah, it's starting to feel that way as they take a look one more time at the BC Racing custom coilover side by side. I think it's going to come down to the chase because the leads are very comparable. And to me, Jack had the first part through outside zone 1, inside clip 1, outside zone 2. Jack really had that nailed, but Matt kind of had better proximity through 3 and 4.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
Right.
I think a lot of things. It's just what I know is the problem. So we'll see.
This has been a fun one. These guys are very similar driving styles. I'd love to see Jack in, again, not taking anything away from the RCP, garagistic prepped BMW, but I'd love to see Jack in a Shanahan prepared European vehicle go against Matt.
Yeah, I hear you there. I mean, that's might end up happening, but we'll see. We'll keep the rumor mill at it. I was going to go with, I'd love to see Jack in a Corvette against Matt Field, and then let's throw Luke Fink in there and get absolutely wild. Through all
what,
them.
What are we talking about here? Just partying?
Yeah, I
thought you meant just driving.
Yeah.
I just want to party with Luke Fink, Matt, and Shanahan.
I don't know if you'd survive, but it would be.
What? Bro. Absolutely, dude. Well, how would I not survive? I don't know if you'll survive.
Oh no, I would not go.
Okay.
I would sleep through that invitation every day.
All right, there. Let's make that real clear.
Yeah.
Look at this. There's a lot of gray in my beard, but that comes with equity, brother.
You know what? I'll pick you up from the party and you can tell me all about it.
There we go. So the other day,
you'll never believe.
Right.
Man, judges taking their time. They're checking out these replays once again. This is a real tough one. Man, I got a lot of people up here, all the spotters hanging out. Even Jonathan Castro came up to join the festivities.
Yeah, I don't know if he's here to party though.
I think he's looking for an explanation.
He's looking for an explanation about that bubble. All right, slide him left for Field. They stand in the middle one more time. Matt Field and one more time. Right now it's James Dean and Nick Novak, and notably Novak went against Osbo and took him out.
I know, and it could happen again. It definitely could happen again here. Nick Novak is no slouch by any means, and James Dean, some quick numbers for you. Out of 190 battles, he has won 152 of them, 80% career win rate. Wild.
Here we go, James the Machine Dean entering in. He is leading in that RTR, ready to rock. Nick Novak trying to take him out. He is the giant killer here today in Utah. James Dean ripped into that third outside zone. Look at that, putting great placement. Throw some more stank on it into that last outside zone. How does he handle it? Boom, right there. Puts it right in. James the Machine Dean puts it. Nick Novak once again, right there on the door of a four-time and defending champion of James the Machine Dean.
Yeah.
Woo!
Man, Nick Novak down, that's for sure. Doesn't matter who he's up against, he is absolutely thrown down. James Dean, clinical as always. Look at this. Big initiation out, fills all the one, collects the inside clip. Just an absolute beeline to two. Now does drop a wheel on the rumble strips, doesn't let it affect him. Great decel getting into that zone. Doesn't get all the way out. Has to huck that extra angle to fill the zone. He inherently knows it, but look at Nick Novak right there. Good transition. And then Nick dive bombs into outside zone 4 and plants it against James Dean to wrap up outside zone 4. Holy cow. You can't count out Nick Novak. He's had a flawless event at Irwindale a couple of years ago. When he is on it, he is absolutely unstoppable. once the stars align, Nick Novak, I mean, another driver you could sit here and say he will be a champion one day. May not be today, it may not be next year, but it will happen for him soon. And this level of driving from Novak is incredible. James Dean, one spot there, outside zone 3, didn't quite fill all the way out, had to huck that extra angle to fill the zone. That's about it. So for Nick Novak, that's where he's got to pounce. That's where he's got to make that opportunity.
Yeah, I think Novak has to have a flawless lead run. And you talk about James, just kind of that flick in outside zone 3, but I think Nick had a strong, Nick had a good chase run because James had a strong lead run. Even just with that more angle in outside zone 3, the placement outside zone 4 allowed Novak, because he was shallow and he worked it on back, and Nick wasn't as deep as James in outside zone 3. So as sensational and awesome as it was, he needs to throw down a heater of a lead run. And just knowing James, as the RTR camp looks on, you can see Ben Hobson and his dad and his fiance Sunny, and I know Vaughn Gittin Jr., Lauren Healy, they are watching at Crandon. They are watching emphatically. So the scenario is, if James Dean wins, Frederick Osbo mathematically is out of a 2025 Formula Drift Championship. Novak will lead, James Dean giving chase. Again, the 4-time and defending champion, James Dean chasing down the BMW of Novak into that second outside zone, lets him on by, and James Dean comes a little unwound. Where is James? Into that third outside zone he goes, and now into that final outside zone goes Nick Novak and James Dean. Wow. Did not anticipate James being so far back from 2 to 3. That was very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, super uncharacteristic, but things happen, and we as much as we like getting our workout, try not to jump to the conclusions and see what happens here, because I mean, maybe something else crazy happened. I have no idea, but check this replay. Nick Novak, great initiation. James Dean completely parallel with him through it. Now is where Nick Novak starts stretching his legs. It's a good job through there. Man, what a launch out. Nick Novak just gets the dig out of 2 and then shoots it out to 3. Now, not super deep, and James Dean does a great job of closing that gap up. And through this transition, Novak again, pretty shallow though, not getting all that zone. We'll need a side-by-side, 100% on this one. Nick Novak's dig, though, from 2 to 3 is just, that's got to be studied, man. The amount of grip he's got coming out of there is wild. Look at this. 2, loads up, gone. And James Dean just over-angling a little bit. Maybe didn't expect that from Nick, who does not really fill all of outside zone 3. And then now we know through outside zone 4, doesn't get all the way out there. He's now up here in the booth. We're getting the smell wafting of the Nitto versus Kenda tires coming up. And does it smell sweet, because that was a wicked battle.
Absolutely wicked, brother. All right. We are awaiting the outcome here between James Dean. Again, if James Dean gets the win, Osbo is officially out of a 2025 and a 4th Formula Drift Championship.
Yeah, so first outside zone's in the lead, inside clip, very comparable. Second one, James maybe a little bit deeper. Third outside zone in the lead. Both of them come out of it a little bit and then sink back in. Chases are pretty comparable to that point. Then outside zone 4. Once again, I'm taking a look at the lead. James Dean buried in it. Nick Novak takes a little bit longer to get in. It'll be interesting. It'll be very, very interesting with some absolutely monumental championship implications on the line right now. This is tense.
You know, everybody's like, man, it'd be crazy if James wraps it up here in Utah. I'm kind of like, it's a first.
Yeah.
You know, we saw, Hiroya be the youngest. That's a first. Okay, one more time. One more time. Here we go again.
Isolation tank in between battles.
That'd be sick. I might fire one up.
Yeah.
I'm an announcer from an ice booth.
Yeah, that'd make for like a weird show.
I'm down to get tattooed while I'm announcing.
Let's make it happen.
Here we go. Matt Field, the Beast with Bay, Jack Shanahan, not once, but twice, now thrice. Matt Field around that bubble. Don't pop it, don't burst it. And here we go. Matt Field into that inside clip, into the second outside zone. Good execution, very smooth from Field. A little herky-jerky from Shanahan in that chase. Field fills all that third outside zone. And Shanahan just lets him on by. Both of them very smooth, a little wavering from Field, but I like the placement of both the cars. Like I said, I think Field was much smoother this lead run than he was in even the previous two.
Yeah, and really outside zone 3 at the beginning of that, Jack's still kind of anticipating that Matt's going to have that slowdown. Jack pops out of that zone pretty quick to keep the proximity. Matt Field doing a good job. Pretty fast approach getting into outside zone 3. And you can see how Jack angles up to make sure he doesn't slam into the side of Matt Field, who's planted all the way through that zone. Now we get into 4. Now is where Jack starts to reel him in. Look at that dive in. Matt Field actually pulling out a little bit of angle to gain that speed, but Jack is right there the entire time. So it's a solid one all the way through this. I'm loving the way this battle is coming together. It's just getting more and more intense. They're closing the gap every single time, and it's just becoming more and more difficult for these judges and for these drivers. It is a tough day to be a judge, that is for sure.
These guys are just absolutely twisting the screws. I'm talking about the drivers twisting the screws of the judges, because as you can see there, Reese talking with Chris. We got Coop, Ryan Sage, and there we are. Novak inside the cockpit.
I just wanted to get you some screen time.
Got a bit of Lorette on that one.
Yeah, Lorette. Just want to give you some screen time, baby. Let everybody know where the head's at.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick Novak, I mean, look at that. Started. There we go. Ooh, I got tense there for a second.
Yeah.
We give him a little bump start there.
That big Duck Club sticker on the side. And we are going to see them alternate order. Jack Shanahan, Matt Field. Jack will lead. Are we going to have a winner? This is, again, the third battle between them. It was unanimous the last one, right? It was,
yeah,
I know it was unanimous
so.
with what we just saw.
There's been so many one more times now, Jared. It's they're all starting to blend together.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of bounce around a little bit. So
yeah,
regardless, we do know that it is a one more time. And just making sure the track is clear.
Oh, okay. Had an action cam fall off, GoPro come off, so just making sure it's not on the driving line. It looks like it might be. That's going to be some good footage.
Yep.
Hopefully it survived. Oh, it's way out there.
Yep.
It went for a trip. More of a flight.
Man, the fridge, peak performance right there. Keeping
Right?
it cool.
Fun interview with him, too. On
Yeah.
the podcast. It was a good one. Good stories.
What was the highlight?
For me, I mean, just how he got the nickname The Fridge. No,
Did he elaborate on that?
a little bit. We kind of just talk about what it's like being one of the first guys to a wreck. And because, I mean, a lot of the times our staff are the first one to make it out to the wreck, and what that's like. I mean, they are first responders in a lot of ways, and you know, that's not their full-time job. Drone getting having some fun with some birds there. Justin Smash, I mean, what a fun job.
Yeah,
Hard
Smash.
work. He's an intense dude when he is locked in there, but he does an incredible job.
Yep. Yeah, him and Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron doing more of the static kind of high flyer. I call it the true serum camera. Justin Smash more of the video game FPV, as Jack Shanahan playing a video game in real life, IRL. Shanahan initiates, past the inside, does escape him just a little bit. Now into outside zone 3. You can see him just dive in. Matt Field aggressive in the chase. Shanahan into the outside zone 3. Field allows him a little bit, then dives back in. Not leaving the judges' hands. That's what you don't want to do. And across the finish line.
Yeah, solid run from Jack Shanahan. Other than that inside clip and the way that we are at now, that may be the determining factor in this battle. Because for me, I mean, Matt Field was all over his door. He is tired of this going one more time. He's tired of leaving it to the judges, and he's putting on an absolute clinic. His judges already looking for that side-by-side, and I get it. Matt Field a little bit late to the party after that initiation in the chase, missing most of that first outside zone. But then making up for it here in third outside zone as we see Jack with a little bit of wavering to find the grip and find the line. Matt actually getting the transition started a little bit earlier than Jack did. He's maybe not as deep to the third outside zone, but Matt Field all the way through. Looks like he wanted a door. Matt Field holding back just that little bit. I think a Matt Field of 4 or 5 years ago probably would have just planted right through the side of Jack Shanahan here, but now a bit more thoughtful, a little bit more reserved in his approach, but still as strong with his attitude, and that's one of my favorite parts about Matt Field. But yeah, I mean, really good run here. You can see Jack, they're just trying to get as much pace out of the car as well, and unfortunately with that, sometimes it can cause you to drive out of the zone a bit. Jack does a good job of filling all those zones, other than that one inside clip, and I'm wondering if that'll come back to haunt him.
That could be the clip that broke the advancement of Shanahan
Yeah, we'll see. And I mean, for Jack, it's, you know, if he wins this is going to put a massive hit to the championship battles there for Matt, if not completely take him out of it.
Yeah,
but for Jack,
true.
I mean, he doesn't care. That's not his problem. His problem is beating Matt Field. It doesn't matter what's at stake for him because he's got to go at this. So let's take a look at the side-by-side. Lead-wise, we know Matt Field gets that inside clip. Jack misses it. Let's see if there's any other spots that we can notice a flaw, maybe even in Matt Field's game. Chase, Matt Field's pretty all over him. Jack does a great job. Both of them do a great job at third outside zone. But yeah, outside zone 4, I think Jack pretty shallow throughout. That might be the nail in the coffin in that side-by-side. What I really like about the side-by-side is you can tell when somebody nails a zone if the other driver doesn't. And that really highlighted outside zone 4 to me as Matt Field on his phone, maybe checking his resting heart rate. Oh no, he's watching the stream. Okay.
Yeah, he's looking, he's running it back. And like you said, the scenario implications here, if Matt Field loses, he is out of contention of the championship. So, you know, like we said, if James Dean wins, Osbo is out. Matt Field holds the fate in his own hands. If he advances, he's still in the hunt. If he loses, he's still in. And there we go. So Matt Field unanimously gets the win. Dude, he beat Osbo. Novak, the dark horse.
Imagine that in one round.
Bro.
Right?
Bro.
How many drivers can say that?
I took out Osbo, took out James Dean, and if he wins, he goes against another multiple champion, Chris Forsberg, and you know, obviously a fierce competitor in Ryan Turk, who's always been in the hunt. Here we go, James the Machine Dean out front. Again, this is a must-win for James Dean to advance on. But if James Dean wins, Osbo is out of championship contention. James Dean into that third outside zone, that Pennzoil RTR Spec 5 FD. Down to that final outside zone, Novak. Not as pressure-filled is that BMW. Novak not as just kind of in his business as he was on those first battles. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, and James, I was trying to look for a flaw in this run. I was checking for that bubble. I was, you know, very, very concerned with that. Yeah, James Dean pretty locked in here. Maybe not as deep into that inside clip. Maybe just a touch over the line on the second outside zone. But I am absolutely splitting hairs here because that's where Nick Novak, not as close. Man, the speed James is picking up through those transitions is incredible. At one point, it looked like he almost started to head off track, but able to make the correction and stay on that side of that zone. So James Dean just stepping up his game again. He's kind of in finals mode now. This is the driving that we normally see from him in the finals. There's something interesting as well. This is a weird one that I had another driver tell me about. With James Dean's car, it builds smoke really far forward in the car, and I've had two drivers separately tell me that it's tough to chase him because the smoke actually kind of comes out midway through the car instead of at the back. So if you're not completely on his door, you can kind of get smoked out a lot easier. I wouldn't put it past the RTR team to design something like that, but just one more element to make driving against this monster that much harder.
Just another cotton candy factory over here, but it's not so sweet for some, but obviously it works out for James the Machine Dean. So if James wins, Frederick Osbo is out of a championship hunt in the 2025 season. So Nick Novak will lead, James Dean chasing him down as the RTR camp, both here in Utah and in Wisconsin, out in Crandon, cheering him on. James Dean. Will Nick Novak take down another multiple-year champion? Nick Novak initiates. James Dean not giving him an inch into that second outside zone goes Novak. Now transitioning into the third. James a little more tempered approach. Look, he let him go, and now he drops in. Sinks in the sword, but it's not a weapon, but it is. It's a Ford Mustang on the side of Nick Novak. Look at him chasing him down. Not leaving it in the judge's hands.
No.
That was just, again, that was a James Dean like, all right, I'm quit. I'm quit playing around.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's no more time for games.
Nope.
This is full finals mode here, locked in. Nick Novak, same initiation we've seen all the way through. James Dean did a great job of mirroring it. Look at already pushing the pace of the first part of the track. Very difficult to do that. Punches through that smoke, does a great job. And then now already getting into Nick Novak, who's pretty shallow through outside zone 3. That is going to be pretty detrimental to a decision for him. And then, yeah, look at this. can see Nick Novak doing a good job, but James Dean just absolutely all over him all the way through it. Judges one more time looking for a side-by-side just to be clear on whatever call is coming out here. But to me, Nick Novak kind of shallow through parts of this. You can see they're missing a good chunk of that zone. Makes a great correction to get back into it, and so does James. Very difficult to mirror a correction like that as well when a driver's offline, because you've got to time it so well, and it's so easy just to get into the side of the mess things up, create a contact, and put a bit more doubt in the judges' minds. We see Lorette there with Dylan Hughes playing with his straps. He's having a grand old time.
All right.
Maybe he's drumming. I don't know what he's doing.
Just filling time here.
Yeah.
And taking a look at it again. I mean, are you surprised we're looking at it again?
Yeah, no. It's still a good battle. You want to make sure you're not missing anything else, and that comparative example between the battles can really, really let you know. Did James Dean miss any chunks of it? I mean, to me here, Nick Novak definitely had a spot removed through outside zone 3, outside zone 4. Judges, to me, it's just, you've got to be clear. You've got to, this has such big implications. You want to take your time. If you have any shadow of a doubt that this isn't going the way you initially thought, you take the time now. Let's make sure that everything is 100% correct because of the weight on this decision.
Here comes the verdict. Slide him left for James Dean or right for Nick Novak, and James Dean gets the win. James Dean moves on.
Turk getting those wins in the last 5 years.
Two legends of the sport. Ryan Turk will lead, Chris Forsberg giving chase. These guys went on a beautiful nature hike yesterday. They
saw
didn't have, it was, I mean,
they were doing push-ups and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
Weird flex.
Bros.
Okay, looking good. Looking good, bros. All right, let's see what you got. Make it mine. Here we go. Ryan Turk, Chris Forsberg. A Drift Alliance battle. I know Vaughn is watching, like I said, with James Dean's battle. He's got to be watching his bros as well. East Coast. Ryan Turk out front is Rockstar Energy Drink, Toyota GR Corolla. And Christopher Forsberg dropping in. Ryan Turk to that outside zone. Now into that third zone. Here comes Forsberg. Ryan Turk very settled. Oh boy.
Oh,
wow. That is way off course. Forsberg continues on. It doesn't look like there's contact, but Ryan Turk overshoots outside zone 3 and goes way off. Didn't look like there was contact, right?
No, I mean, Chris came in with some heat, so there might have been, but I'm not sure. There's a couple other things. I saw Turk with a big left foot brake, and looks like he was trying to get the back end to swing around, so that might be part of it. But the old replay is going to come into effect here for sure. Airforce.com replay. Let's take a look. Turk, first outside zone, looks good. Missing that inside clip, which means he's going to have a ton of speed coming into 3. Let's see. Oh, nope. That looks like it was all Turk. Looks like it was all Turk. It pains me to say, but
yep.
You could tell the car was fighting to get to angle. He had that big left foot brake in. I mean, it just had so much grip in it, and it didn't want to come back around. And that was kind of it. So we'll see how this plays out the next battle. Anything can happen. Murphy's Law. If it can't happen, it will happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ryan Turk goes off course. We'll see if they want to inspect the car, if they're going to call a comp timeout. They're going for it. Cam, Chris Forsberg spotter. Chelsea Denofa actually spotting for Ryan Turk. That's a good utilization of a resource there.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's many different strategies when it comes to spot. If you were a driver, would you want a cheerleader? Would you how would you describe a perfect spotter for you?
For me, I need someone to tell me what I did wrong. I don't want you to tell me what I did
clinical.
right. Yeah, just give me just the straight facts. You were a foot off here, 2 feet off there. If you want to beat them, that's how you can do it. That's for me. That's it. Not
how about tell you what the other driver did?
Yeah, I'd want to know where they screwed up so I can make sure to do that zone perfectly.
Or how about tell you, hey, you do not give them an inch, or you need to bang doors, or okay, just all that.
Yeah, like. I think it's got to be a mix of being a bit of a cheerleader and being, pretty critical. And a good spotter knows when to do each of those things. And that's the difference between a good spotter and a great spotter. Great spotter is just one with the driver and knows how to communicate with them. And right now we've got 2 of the best that are in the ears of these drivers. We're getting ready for them on the line here. Oh, that's why.
Yep, got a lot of dust out there on track, blowing it off, and they're going to have an ideal scenario. Got the Zamboni out here to hockey term there for you, bud.
I mean, Zamboni is a brand. Technically, it's an ice resurfacer. So I have a friend of mine who does that for a living, and they get really mad if you say Zamboni, because there's others. Olympia makes a brand as well.
What's your friend's name?
I've got two. I got Katie and Sharky.
So Katie and Sharky get mad.
If you just call it a Zamboni.
That's a Zamboni. I'm just trying to make them mad because I don't know.
I mean, Sharky's a great driver. You might see him in Prospect in the next little bit. So I'll make sure you introduce
Sharky.
him.
It's a track Zamboni.
Yeah. I really hope he's watching. I really hope he's watching.
All right. I know. We talked about this yesterday with Sopa. It's like hook and loop closure.
Yeah, not Velcro.
Not
Velcro's a brand.
Yeah, Xerox.
Yeah.
There's brands. Even the big screen out here, Jumbotron is
a company. Yeah.
All right, speaking of brands, who is going to be the biggest brand between these Drift Alliance pilots? Chris the Force Forsberg or Ryan Turk? Forsberg went off quite a bit, all four wheels off on that lead run. Here comes Forsberg into that inside clip. Car looks a little disrupted. Maybe Turk pushing a Forsberg around that NASA energy drink. All new Z into that third outside zone goes Forsberg. Here comes Ryan Turk on the inside. Now outside zone 4 dives in. Forsberg brings it into that last outside zone, and Turk applies the pressure, but I don't think there are enough mistakes there to offset Ryan Turk's off track, and I believe it was under his own power.
Looks that way. I don't know. Brian, our judge, has got a bit of a grin on him, so that always concerns me. So we'll take a look at this run either way. Forsberg out front, Turk in the chase. So you can see here as well, I mean, Forsberg is on the left foot brake even through that transition, which is really interesting. Not seeing that a lot with drivers. Yeah, I mean, Forsberg not all the way deep to that zone. He's got to get that cleaned up. Wondering if the track is starting to grip up a little bit for these drivers. Not that the temps are really coming down, but yeah, tough to say. And for Turk, it just got so much forward drive. It's a tough go for him.
Yeah, and I might have said Forsberg went 4 off. I meant Ryan Turk went 4 off, but he is 4 moving on. Chris the Force Forsberg. A lot of 4s going on. 4, look out. Look on your left as Chris. So we talk about James Dean and James Dean winning and removing Osmo from the conversation. That's where he's going to hold. Now, Adam LZ could jump up, again, 10 points, so moves up to 170. Matt Field just won, so he'd be tied with Matt Field as far as points go. Where they land is still a lot of variables here, only going from 16 to 8. So there's still a lot of competition, but Jeff Jones would love to stop him here, and I really think, again, mathematically, we'll figure that out if Adam LZ, if he retires at this point, where he lands as far as the championship standings. We'll again do the math for you in all the different scenarios. As Adam LZ initiates first outside zone, perfect placement on 1 inside clip, on 2 outside zone, going into 3 very smooth, good rate to angle outside zone 3. Jeff Jones needs to join the conversation. Adam rips out with that Drift HQ BMW into that outside zone 4 perfectly. Jeff Jones just not partaking in that party, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Adam is just locked in here. His ability and it's the consistency he's got now is the scariest part. He's always been a really good driver, but it kind of came in ebbs and flows, and now Adam has figured out a way to just be locked in every time he's behind the wheel, whether it's practice, top 32 or now getting into top 16. He's got this completely nailed. So this outside zone, absolutely incredible. Jeff Jones just along for the ride through a lot of it, taking a pretty shallow line all the way through in the chase, whereas Adam LZ just planted. He is in top form. I'm fairly sure he knows what he's got to do to stay in this championship contention, but yeah, he's doing it. He's absolutely doing it. Jeff Jones that BMW is so fast. It's incredible the setup they got on it. It's planted, and yeah, Jeff Jones does a good job in the chase, but not able to keep up the pace out of LZ. Even taking a tighter line, he's back there pretty far. That's got to be a frustrating feeling. Now as we swap it around though, Adam obviously significantly faster. Can he hold that back? Can he keep it smooth while trying to make sure that he doesn't run into the side of Jones?
Jeff Jones, I'm expecting him to throw down a heater. He wants to get his name up there. He wants to party. He wants to get on the box. Jeff's a wild child, man. I feel like Jeff Bon Jones. He's on a steel. I feel like
Bon Jonesy.
Jeff Bon Jonesy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's with that hat and the glasses.
Yeah, I mean, it is his life.
Slippery when wet.
Yep.
It's now or never. It's slippery when wet. On a steel horse he rides.
Yep.
He's won it dead or alive.
You know way more songs than I do.
Whatever. We're halfway there. We're living on a prayer, you know what I'm saying? Jeff Jones, Adam LZ. Jeff Jones comes out of the chicane, avoids the bubble, but Adam LZ, he's all up in his business. And now past that second outside zone, Adam LZ navigates it. He cuts out of the smoke. Straight line approach. Jeff Jones throws more angle out of outside zone 3. And now transition outside zone 4. It goes Jones, LZ. You can see him inching closer and closer. Jones in the dirt. The evil auto work. See? That's where he goes.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, Jeff threw down the way that you would, expected, you were looking for, and same here. Just, you've got to throw everything against the wall, especially because when you're in the chase, you see somebody gapping you like that, you are fully aware of what you need to do at that point in time. Initiation looks solid from Jeff Jones. Inside clip looks great. Second outside zone looks good. The big thing is Adam LZ is not, he's not backing down. So Jeff, a little bit late to the party in outside zone 3, whereas Adam LZ is actually deeper through a lot of it in the chase, which is incredibly difficult to do because it means you're going to be bathing in smoke the entire way through. And then Jeff decides to take a little bit of angle out, and that ends up pushing him out into the dirt, and that's a pretty big drop that's going to weigh heavy on the judging decision for sure.
All right, LZ looking at, again, overall what Adam LZ could do and advance on in the championship.
Yeah, so the winner of this will then go up against either Manoa or Odie Bakshis, which, that is another absolute barn burner of the battle there. Yeah.
LZ and Manoa?
Or LZ and Odie?
Oh, LZ and Odie?
Either
Come
one.
on. Save some for the rest of us. I have to assume we're going to slide him left. I love Jeff, but unfortunately just not enough for Adam LZ. If you're from another country, kind of in the yellow, just about to go for it, but just really don't throw it all the way out there. And that's why, Odie is always part of the conversation in the championship hunt. And then Hiroya, in his sophomore season, what a ledge, coming over here, making history once, twice, and now 16 years young, really just elevating and rising to the occasion. Let's see what we get from Hiroya, Manoa, and Odie Bakshis. And here they come, coming down the chute. Let's see what we got. Hiroya Manoa, Juga Racing 86. Odie Bakshis into formation. No problem for both of them. Second outside zone. Look at Odie Bakshis. Tuck in. Little tap maybe. We'll see if they have an exchange of some paint or some 3M vinyl. Now past this last outside zone. Hiroya deep into it. Odie Bakshis very shallow on his line. So again, that tap, he had to back off. And then on the transition outside zone 4, Odie very shallow.
He's been struggling between 3 and 4. That has been the weakness of Odie Bakshi so far. We saw, one extreme earlier on, and then we see another extreme now where he's caught a bit on the inside. Manoa using every single bit of track there. Great job through the first outside zone, inside clip, maybe not quite as deep, and then a bit more of a straight line approach. But look at Odie's dive through here. Phenomenal job. And I was going to say bites off more than you can chew, but no, he hangs through it. But this transition, what's interesting is Manoa actually adds just a touch more angle before getting the transition done, and I think that threw Odie just a little bit. So if you watch here at the end of 3, Manoa adds just maybe 2 or 3 more degrees of angle right before he transitions out. Right about here. Right there, just that little bit. And then I don't know if that catches Odie a little bit unawares, but then Odie now has to make up for it and really doesn't get back into outside zone 4 till the very, very end. So we'll see what goes on now. Here's the thing, though. Odie's car is absurdly fast, like ridiculously fast. So is he going to have... Sorry, a little bit of dust coming up here. Is Odie going to have the grip and the tire left on it to be able to keep up with that and throw down with that much pace?
Taking a look here, Odie Bakshis and Manoa waiting for the run, and like you said, anticipating going from 3 to 4. Odie, I feel like when he transitioned, he's like, oh shoot, I'm on the inside, and you can't do anything at that point.
No,
he was just totally thrown off, and I think Odie's a phenomenal driver, but just did not time that properly.
That's been a struggle all weekend in seating and top 32. So now, he's going to know that. He already knows it, and there's no spotter needed to tell you what happened there. But let's see what he does now.
All right, Odie Bakshis, Haroya Manoa, Odie out front. Let's see what he's got for Haroya into that first outside zone. Both of them on it. The car's very settled. Look at, I mean, they're just like vacuums to that track. Just sucked up into the outside zone 3 using all the course. Let's see how Haroya manages. See how he gave some distance, and that allowed him to tuck in. Odie, oh, and then Haroya jumps forward. He grabs some grip, shoots up. Haroya works his way in. That awareness of Haroya, you saw him dive in. He did shoot up, but then he brought it back. Just some sorcery there by the young buck.
Yeah, great timing, great anticipation of what was going to go on there with Odie Bakshis, who's got a phenomenal first outside zone. He does a great job in that inside clip. I'd say better than what we saw with Manoa, and that speed coming out in outside zone 3, gets back on throttle immediately. Very tough to do with the amount of velocity he's got through that section. A little bit of a left foot brake. Transition looks good, and that's where Manoa makes the dive and actually over angles just a touch, and then has to get back into it. Maybe not as big of a mistake as what we saw with Odie. So, you know, let's say there's a little bit there, but Odie's lead had a pretty good one. Judges, once again, looking for that side-by-side, and yeah, I get it. I get it.
Get what?
I get why they want a side-by-side, because this is pretty tight.
This is we are splitting hairs, as they say, and Odie comes on back. Final battle of 16.
Yeah.
I'd say finally, but I only say that because it's like we had 3 one more times with it was Jack and Matt. We had one more time with James Dean and Novak. So quite a few one more times, justified one more times, because we're really trying to make sure that we can justify the one more times. We don't want to award, let's just call it what it is, less than ideal runs. We want to reward, like, yes, that was so sick, make it better. Yeah,
and right now what we're rewarding potentially is just another phenomenal battle between these two drivers. Couple of mistakes here and there for both of them, but all things considered, those leads very, very comparable. Maybe a slight touch to Odie on the inside clip. And yeah, judges are gonna have a bit of a think on this one. We'll get a decision here shortly, but man, just crazy. Just crazy how good this is getting.
Yeah, it's the plot thickens. Here we go. Slide him left for Manoa, right for Odie Bakshis, and Hero gets 1 vote and 2 votes. It's Haroya Manoa getting the win over Odie Bakshis. The caveman out there working on his vehicle. Here goes Dylan the Dozer Hughes, Trent Beecham, like you said, an old, what was Pro 2, now Pro Spec. These guys did battle, and here comes the Dozer out front. Trent in that chase position. Simultaneous initiation outside zone 1. Nailing outside zone 2. Let's see. Into 3, and Beecham taps the door of Dylan, but he stays in it. Pin it to win it. Now transitioning into that last outside zone. Well done by Dylan Hughes and Beecham. Yo,
great run.
I like it. Got some contact. They kept it there. Dylan stayed sideways. Solid run by both the fellas.
Yeah, solid run. And I mean, you talked about earlier drivers you grew up with. These are 2 drivers that I grew up with coming back from the Pro 2 days. Got to see them compete back then, and both of them were absolutely nuts. I mean, Beecham winning a Pro 2 championship back in his day, and that's what got him up here in Pro. And Dylan Hughes only second to Travis Reeder in his year. But man, what a great battle here between the 2 of them. Love the contact, and love that Hughes just stays in it, and so does Reeder, or it's not Reeder, Beecham. Sorry, I missed Reeder.
BMWs, you misreaded it.
It happens. But yeah, a solid battle between the 2 of them. Just feisty all the way through. You know, you get the contact in it, the transitions look really good. This just feels very much like an old school grassroots, going out, bang doors with your friends, don't care what happens, let's just drive until the wheels fall off kind of battle. And that's what's great. I mean, that's just another way to enjoy the sport, and we get to see it now on the biggest stage.
Yeah, and still hood is popped. 2 minutes. You can see the clock there in the background. Trey, is that max? All right, so still all hands on deck.
Could be a coil pack as well. Something else that was brought up to us. I think Lorette was mentioning
Lorette
that.
said coil pack, maybe burnt a spark plug. Wire, spark plug cable, excuse me. And all right, so back to the start line, Trent Beecham. Hearing Matfield's cars fire up, but Beecham on the start line. Reeder chasing him down. Beecham had great success here. He's got to be confident, but Dylan the Dozer Hughes took that hit. Like you said, he gave it to Shanahan. Is he going to do it again? The royal purple BMW. Beecham goes in, and if he was just close and didn't, oh, wow! Beecham, yes, sir. like I said, very comfortable here in Utah. Dylan the Dozer Hughes, he does get close, tucks it nicely. And you know what? I like that approach. I really like that approach from Dylan Hughes, how he dropped in, didn't bang doors with them, just collectively just showed, you know, he could be right there in that pocket. And there's Matt's team, so it looked like he made it. Smiles all around.
Not great.
Smiles all around for the Drift Cave Cavemen.
All right, let's see what happens here with Beecham and why he had to throw so much angle. It comes out of that zone a bit early, pretty tight on that inside clip. Second outside zone looks good. And then third, this is where things get wild. So in it and just not enough angle and hucks it around. So from the first camera angle, it looked pretty nasty. From our top view, maybe not as much, but Dylan Hughes, amazing job of adapting all the way through on the chase, dialing things back. Once again, you could tell he wanted to punch in the door. He wanted to rub some royal purple on the side of Beecham's car, but just stays back just enough all the way through to be, you know, to still be in the chase, to still show that dominance and not get himself into a situation that's going to leave it into the judge's hands for who's at fault for an incident. So Dylan Hughes making the necessary corrections already in that battle, and taking a look at the stats on these guys. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's what I anticipated. You know, I really love Trenton's style, but Dylan's was just that much more refined. And one fell out, another fell out. He's still in contention. These guys came from 5th all the way up to win the damn thing.
Yeah, and that was the best part of it, and that's also why, you know, we're being kind of careful with how we're talking about the championship here, because, man, yeah. Ooh.
But it could get crowned. All right, it was a jump of the light there for Matt Field, but you know, we could have a champion here in Utah for the 2025 Formula Drift Pro Championship.
I think these people would go crazy if that happened.
It'd be sweet. I mean, again, it's just another first for me. It's, yes, you know, you'd like it to go down to the very last battle, the very last point, and it has come down to that. So, you know, shoot, RTR, they're partying across the globe. You know, again, Vaughn and Lauren, they're out there in Crandon, the RTR, Fun Haver team. You know, they have some people here. They got people all across, man. I mean, so James is looking on, but Matt Field would love to continue his reign and his terror of and a potential of a championship. So here we go, Matt Field, the Beast in the Bay, the Boiler Performance, Heat Wave, Lean Customs Corvette out front, Garagistic BMW initiates in tow. Perfect placement on that inside clip by Matt Field. Slingshotting away into that third outside zone, but Rome, holy cow, here, marinating, smoky, holy cow. The amount of smoke off of Matt Field's car, completely spy huntered Rome Charpentier. He just absolutely tasered him. Just put him in a chokehold of smoke.
Yeah, that was...
I can't even see it, dude. Holy cow, look, it's still lingering.
It's still trying to clear off on outside zone 3. My concern now is how much tires he got left after that run. But yeah, let's see. First outside zone looks good. Inside clip, solid. Second outside zone. And Rome is already in the chase. Matt Field now getting lit up into that zone. But Rome, unfortunately, just diving off track. So pretty tough there. And then look at that. I mean, Matt Field laying down. Solid lead run. Ah, man. So the only part I was concerned about there in the beginning is where did Matt Field light off, but it looked like he did so pretty early in the zone, and really just Rome got caught behind, and that was it, and tried to play the catch-up game. And when you do that, you cut all those lines, you're going to come into outside zone 3 with a massive amount of speed, and if you don't scrub that correctly, well, you're going off-roading.
Drivers' Championship points. James, this is real time. So Matt Field currently sits with 170. He would tie Frederick Osbo right now, but we have another round left if he gets the win. Haroya, look at him, and he talked about at the top of the show with Lorette. He says, hey, I need to do better. I would love to get up to 2nd or 3rd on his 2nd season. Bro, come on. That's kid crazy. Is just so damn good. He will be a champion. It's just when, not if, at all.
And we've had drivers in their rookie and sophomore years do incredibly well, but not at this age, right? Like James Dean, his full rookie season, because you could kind of count that one run at Long Beach, you know, he obviously did phenomenally well. When Saito came over, obviously, you know, he did quite well. So, but it's just at the age that he's doing all of this is what makes it that much more spectacular. So see here, I think we're just waiting to get some of that dust off track. It was definitely a pretty big spill. And drivers at the line The nice thing is that it's got a good temp, so the tire temps are going to hold. If anything, it's kind of nice for them to let the temps come down a little bit on those tires. And
just as far as attrition?
Yeah. I mean, keeping them at a really, really high temp the whole time. There's an operating window that every tire and every tire brand likes to work within. If you go above it, you just kind of melt off a whole bunch more. It makes for a bunch of smoke,
yep.
But you can potentially lose grip. If you're under it, the car is very skinny, so you're very aware of where that window is.
Yep. All right. Well, you talked about it, how smoky Matt Field's lead run was. Does he have enough tire to stay with RCP, Rome Charpentier? Now Rome's going to try to give it back to him into that third outside zone. Look at there, Matt Field jams in on the inside, but no, he tucks in Rome a little on the inside, now transitioning outside zone 4. Rome, great placement of that BMW out front, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. Matt he was like the exterminator out there. He just fumigated that thing, and look at that, just smoking out the crowd.
Yeah, another wild run here, and Rome does have a really, really solid lead run, and that's what always makes it frustrating when the other half of the run doesn't go as well for a driver, because you're fully aware of how good they can be. But Rome, I mean, that car is quick, and you can see it there as he gets on throttle. It starts to straighten just ever so slightly through that zone. He has to fight a little bit more with the left foot brake, and Rome popping and banging a little bit, maybe kind of knows where things are going to go and how this is all going to play out. Just a tough go for him, but Matt Field looking quite good, and obviously very much pushing for that championship contention.
Take a look at this here, outer zone 3. Watch Matt Field here in the initiation, transition, and then bang.
So I'm wondering if the question then was where is Matt Field lighting off? If he was leading Rome out of it, I think that's maybe the conversation that's going on right now. I don't know. I don't really know on
Let's
that
keep
one.
looking at it.
Let's
keep looking at it.
It'd be interesting to get a judge's perspective on it once they come to a conclusion. Now, obviously looking through those replays, but yeah, outside zone 3 is what we've been told is what they're asking for replays on. So there's one. There's our inside clip. There's 2. Now, what does Matt Field do in 3? So I guess the question is, did he light off at the correct time, or did Rome kind of have to abort that run? It's interesting.
Well, coincidentally, Matt was pretty vocal in the drivers' meeting about that outside zone 3.
Yep.
So he's very vocal.
And was on more of the side of, the lead car needs to light off early, and if there's an incident, then it's on the lead, not the chase, and which is, I believe the word ironic comes into play here.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It also depends on where Rome was and how hot he's coming in, and ultimately the judges decided that it's going to be a case-by-case basis. Well, this is
Still looking at it.
This is the case. So
wow.
Once again, let's find out, where does Matt Field truly light off? Where does he continue his momentum through? That is a tough one. Rome does have to hang out and wait for a pretty long period of time. And thankfully the judges, like I said, they've got this massive 100-inch screen where they can see all the replays in real time. That's where the decision comes in. And what's the trajectory of Rome coming into that zone as well? That's another part that's got to play into this. We have to be a little bit
drive aggressive. Oh, is that?
I was on steering wheel. Drive aggressive, be a legend.
Yeah, that's his message. Is that kind of food for thought? Is that kind of a backhanded thing? I mean, it's obviously
a little bit.
It's been on the
He
wheel.
drove aggressive, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Here we go. Taking a look at it again. United States Air Force replay. Matt Field hammering down, throws it in there.
So right there is where they're looking for him to be on throttle, and he's kind of.
Yeah, but was Rome going off?
It did look like Rome was on a bit wider of a trajectory through that part.
So slide him left for Field, right for RCP, and it looks like Matt Field advances on. Rome Charpentier gives chase, and again, I think that was the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, this is do or die for James, really. I mean, this is going to move him very, very close to locking this out. And for Chris Forsberg, it's a chance to really dominate James Dean.
Yeah, would love to see Forsberg on the box. Haven't seen him up there in a bit, and he would love to twist the screws on James Dean. James Dean initiates in that Pennzoil RTR Ford Mustang into that third outside zone. Forsberg takes a tighter line. James gets out to the outside zone 3. Forsberg massages it on back. Now brings it outside zone 4. And outside zone 4, both of them execute it properly. Good placement by James Dean, allowing Forsberg to drop into that pocket. So a good drive by both these gentlemen.
Yeah, this is already setting up to be a pretty difficult battle here. So let's take a look once again. Airforce.com replay. James Dean filling all that first outside zone, nailing that inside clip. Second outside zone looks good, doesn't touch the rumble strips. And then Chris taking a really tight line in there. Doesn't quite get the transition the way he wants to, and then falls into the pocket to the latter half of the third outside zone. Swapping things into the fourth, that is where Chris Forsberg really comes alive and gets into the side of James Dean right there at the end. Nice little how's your mother as they come across that line. But James Dean once again just clinical and scarily perfect through so much of this run. There's a reason why he's got the stats he does. It is because of the consistency that he has in pretty much every battle, and knowing how close he is to clinching a championship, he's going to be driving like that. Yeah, that was pretty tight. They came across the line.
Tight.
Hopefully nobody got into that ditch, and it doesn't look like we got any D-beats. It's another pretty nasty spot to put a car at this track.
Yeah, I saw James get in the dirt, but it looks like he's just going to quickly turn around. I know he's kind of one of those dudes that's a gladiator. He's like, dude, it's fine. We're good.
Yeah.
The RTR camp looking on.
Lots of Pennzoil Ultra shirts there, cheering them on.
Now Forsberg will lead. James Dean will give chase. Again, this is, if James Dean wins, he creates a larger chasm between him and the rest of the field as they continue winning. Talking about LZ field. And again, it's not so much a must win, it's more about a must lose for the other guys in order for James to be another champion. But right now, it's all Forsberg out front and James Dean in tow. That third outside zone, there goes Forsberg. James Dean takes some angle out of it to gain that proximity, gets into formation outside zone 3, and there it is in the outside zone 4. Forsberg, great placement by him. Look at Forsberg painting that line in that NOS energy drink, all new, see? You see him throw a deuce?
Yeah.
Chris threw his fingers out the window. That was sick.
Yeah, James that was sick. Wild there.
He gave a little what's up. These guys are good friends, man.
Yeah, you know. These are two legends going against it.
Great
this is just a battle of gladiators and an incredible set of runs. Look at pulling up side by side because they're both absolutely. I mean, James on the right side, Chris is on the left, so they're able to see each other all the way through that. Man, what an epic run and an epic finale to that as well. I mean, continuing the show well past the finish line. So let's take a look at it here. Chris doing a great job through the first inside zone and inside clip. Second outside zone looks good too. James getting a little bit into the smoke there, taking a tighter line. Does a great job. Now Chris riding the line on the inside of that zone. That is not really where you want to be, especially now with this battle. Look at Chris. Almost gets into the hazard area, like going a bit too deep, but able to pull things back in. And then they come through that pretty nasty section. There's James hucking a big old backy. Man.
Well, I think he just came unwound, but Chris is like, good job, dude. Good job.
Tough battle. I know we're going to be looking at a side-by-side on this one. I just want it just because I want to see these battles again. But yeah, I mean, as per usual, I like to look at the lead first because I can really set up what things look like in the chase. Pretty comparable through the first couple of zones. To me, I mean, James really locks into the third outside zone, whereas Chris is kind of off the line a little bit. Now, Chris really in the pocket there in the chase, which is great. Now we get into our last outside zone. I mean, Chris is on the edge of it all the way through. James is filling it, but Chris is flirting with disaster all the way through that run. And, I mean, the chase, pretty comparable for both of them, both experts when it comes to following the leader. Man, James and Chris both look like they're having an absolute blast. See, not a lot of tread left on those Nittos, using every single bit of it. The judges
and here we go. Yeah, slide him left for James Dean or right for Chris Forsberg, and James Dean gets the win. You got to think about it. He was doing Pro 2, then during COVID years, he was going to bow out, but because it was only 4 rounds, Rookie of the Year, right? So he jumps in his S chassis, gets Rookie of the Year. Then Von Gittin Jr. says, hey, drive one of my Mustangs. He does decent, and he wins an event, and then, just progresses as a driver, and here he is campaigning his own vehicle. It's great to see just his development as a driver, and just, hats off to him as far as, just a personality, being online, and just kind of opening, his experience through this whole journey from BMX to S13 to now, again, his assortment of vehicles and his driving, basically, again, transparency. So hats off to Adam LZ. Here comes Hiroya Manoa. Hero. Here goes my hero into that inside clip, into that second outside zone. So almost hit for tap, but Adam LZ, he seems to work it out a little bit better than Hiroya. Now watch Manoa back off. Oh, there you go, Adam LZ. Well done. Good execution. And that's why he's still in the hunt for the championship. Adam LZ and his wisdom whiskers. Shout out to my boy Warren. I'll see you next weekend. He's like, I think that's what you meant to say, wisdom whiskers. All right, so again, if Manoa wins, then LZ cannot win the championship.
Yeah, this is big for sure, and Manoa has a very, very solid lead run, collecting that inside clip, doing a great job there. Adam very patient through the transition, does a good job, almost gets into that contact when he gets back on throttle, and just looks very, very stable in the chase. Manoa, a couple little tweaks here and there, and that transition is sick from Adam LZ. I mean, just almost taking off the rear bumper of Manoa. Very well timed, very poised all the way through it, and a master class in transitions. It's just another incredible battle from 2 amazing, amazing motorsports athletes and athletes overall. So yeah, you can see this view, what Adam is doing behind the wheel, just feeding that wheel in and out, trying to make sure that you gain that proximity, that transition though. Incredible from Adam LZ. Manoa out front laying a very stable line. So maybe that one mistake. I mean, both drivers having a mistake on the previous run. This one, both of them very, very locked in.
Gotta love it. Adam LZ just shutting people up across the globe. I love it. And Hiroya Manoa, again, if he wins, Adam's out, but Adam is still in contention, shutting everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's LZ taking a James, so that's the way it's gotta go.
Matt Field will lead. Dylan Hughes giving chase. Who's going to the finals? Matt Field. Really good placement of that Borla Performance Corvette. Now into outside zone 3. Dylan taking that straighter line. He gains proximity. Little bump there. Matt Field stays in it. Nice job. Very clean by Matt Field. Even with that bump, he stayed in it. And Dylan, look at, whoa. Oh, that rumble strip clapped back for sure.
Getting spicy. Spicy across the line. I mean, Dylan Hughes just absolutely trying to play spoiler here.
Yeah.
Potential championship for Matt Field, but Matt Field filling all that outside zone, inside clip, and there's Dylan Hughes just hunting him down all the way through. So much speed through this section. Matt Field a little bit late to get back on the throttle, and Dylan Hughes, I mean, he's in there. You got to expect to be back on throttle at that point in time, and Dylan Hughes just basically just giving him a nudge. Hey, I need you to start going again. A couple more nudges as we get close to the line. Thankfully, Matt Field not going off track, but yeah, definitely a few bumps and bruises being had throughout this run. Dylan Hughes by no means backing down through any part. Here we go. That's the one. Definitely a few more to come as we get a little bit later throughout this run, man.
Living up to the name Dozer. And you can see back, that back left. Ooh.
So I'm wondering, do we have a D-bead or at least a flat tire?
Yeah, that rocked him, that back right. That is an unforgiving curb. Like I said, it clapped back. That Forge Star wheel took a hit. The GT radial, I mean, I don't care what you're running.
So this is a conversation that we also had in the drivers' meeting, which is D-beating on the rumble strip at the very end of the run. This is another Matt Field conversation.
But did Dylan force him into that? That's the variable that I'm thinking.
Right, so they're across the line. Is Dylan even, Matt's got nowhere to go. Dylan's right into the side of him. Yeah, this is a tough one. This is another thing that comes up in that drivers' meeting that they try to set a precedent for early. We'll see how this all plays out here in a minute. I mean, should be able to call, wow, that is definitely a hard hit there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, to be honest, I think we can just get him off track and then.
Without further ado, here we are in the Final Four. Without further ado, James Dean holds his fate in his hands. Let's send it for a potential championship run for James the Machine Dean, this Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. James Dean goes into that second outside zone, into the third outside zone. Adam LZ cuts in on the inside, drops right into formation with James Dean now going at looks like Adam LZ just went a little bit off. Now he dives into the inside. Adam LZ fights back. James keeps his car where the rubber meets the road and the middle tire. Ooh, he almost got involved with that rumble strip that Matt Field just got involved with. Almost puncturing that back right, just like Field did. But again, LZ had some mistakes in that chase position. I don't think they are forced from James.
Yeah, and I got a little spooked there with our bubble and how close James got to it. What a crazy series of events that would have been. But James, once again, I mean, just throwing on an absolute clinic in the lead. And I really like how aggressive Adam LZ is in this. The hard part was keeping the consistency in that aggression, because he made a couple of dives, made a bit of contact here and there, just trying to get through that entire run. But yeah, so tough with James Dean. Oh, so close to touching that bubble. Man, I couldn't, I don't want that to happen. No one deserves that.
Silly.
No one deserves that. But Adam, I mean, he is fighting for every single inch that he can get all the way through this run. What a crazy, crazy battle. Adam LZ, he's throwing everything against the wall. That's what he's got to try and do. And he wants to be on the door of James Dean. Are we looking at the bubble? Is that what we're looking at here? Oh, it is so close. That is so incredibly close. We're going to need, oh man, I don't like how many replays we got going on with this situation right now. It looks like the front overhang is there, but I don't know about the front wheel. The hard part is it's in the shadow. And that's like the most difficult part of that entire run.
Oh, I'm only laughing because what?
It's a stress laugh. It's a stress laugh. Everybody, all the spotters, kind of discussing it, having those conversations about it. And we'll see here. Yeah, there they are, Sonny and Ben taking a look at it as well. I don't know what their thoughts are on it, but either way, tough go. We got another replay. Okay.
Why are you flirting with it, James? That looks like a splitter.
Yeah, and if that was a wall, that splitter would bend. Am I grasping at straws here, maybe?
No, that's a great analogy. If that was a wall, he would just bloop, like kick back out.
Yeah.
Looking at it once again, looking at the entirety of the run, you can see Adam LZ. He dives in that front left. He did he rub on him?
I think that's maybe the next question they're looking at is, was there contact? If so, then they get their free 5 because it's contact with that incomplete. Maybe he did. Once again, really, really tough. Oh, man. Of course it happens on this battle. Of course it happens with the potential that James... And this is also why this is being taken so seriously. Because of the weight of the decision that's going to come out of this, we need to be so incredibly sure of what is about to happen. One more time. Nah. Yeah, that one doesn't look like it. That one doesn't look like it to me. And then, obviously, we're taking a look. Jared taking a bit of a wander over there.
We are splitting our splitters.
Yeah.
We're not splitting hairs. We are splitting splitters. Splitting tire treads.
Splitting molecules at this point. Splitting the atom.
Adam getting in that dirt. Could see in the outside zone 4. Adam works his way back. James pretty consistent through outside zone 3 and definitely 4. Tough go. Tough go.
I didn't say, is this another angle that we just got?
Yeah, this is going into 3.
Yeah, so this is now seeing if there was maybe contact. If there is, it's polite contact.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I talk to you about your car insurance?
I think it's like nudging by somebody in the grocery store contact.
Yep.
Spotters are having the conversation as well. They're in the ears of their drivers. A lot of things going on. We just want to make sure this call is correct. Judges are about 6 inches away from a 100-inch screen to make sure they can see as much of it as possible, but Yeah,
All right.
It's tough. Tough go. And really, as I said before, we want to make sure that the call is very, very clear because we don't want this to affect what's going on.
I'm hearing some resolution here,
Okay.
and hearing that we'll talk with the judges here. I think it's in the best interest as a little lull in the action. And you can see the drivers heading back to the pits. Hey, Reese, could we throw you on the headset? Looks like you guys have come to a conclusion here, and they are analyzing it. Brian, Vernon, and Reese. So, here we are. You guys were over analyzing and analyzing. Did James Dean hit the bubble? What was the conclusion?
He was very close, but he is clear from the bubble, so there is no zero there. It keeps on going. What we were actually looking at more so was to see where the deep beat happened with Adam LZ.
Oh.
But we don't see where it happened, so we think maybe it may have happened afterwards, but in any case, both drivers are both going to get tires, make it fair, and we're going to go see the second half of the battle. But yes, he was cleared of the bubble. We were trying to figure out where the deep beat happened for Adam LZ in the rear right. Weren't able to distinguish it on track. We feel it may have happened afterwards. Both drivers are going to get new tires, keep it fair. We're going to move on to the next round.
How crazy is it that? Here we go. Second half of this battle. Dylan Hughes, Matt Field. Dylan Hughes will lead. Matt Field giving him chase. Who's going to the finals? Dylan Hughes, Royal Purple BMW into that second outside zone. He does escape that inside clip. Now, Dylan the Dozer Hughes into that third outside zone. Good control by Matt Field. You saw him just dial it back a little bit to ensure that he is to the side of Dylan the Dozer Hughes. Dylan, great placement by that BMW, but by comparison, Field just has really good composure, calculated on those transitions, and again, just really kind of pulling those claws back.
Yeah, this is a very, very smart run from both drivers. Dylan Hughes does a great job through the first outside zone, gets a little bit wide on the inside clip, second outside zone, putting on a ton of speed, but is able to correct it in time, and Matt Field predicts that so well to be able to stay into the side of Dylan Hughes all the way through the third outside zone. Now getting into the fourth, Dylan completely planned it, and there he is, Matt Field in tow. Just getting the back end of that car all the way through into the zone, on the side, on the door of Dylan Hughes, is laying down an absolute heater of a lead run. Very, very solid. What we come to expect at this level of drifting at this time in the event. Top four, making itself known here with an absolutely epic way to wrap up this run. And just to reiterate, for Matt Field, this is do or die. You either win and potentially keep fighting for a championship, or you'll be on the box, but knowing that the big trophy still eludes you.
The fate of the championship lies in James Dean's cockpit. That's who's in control, who's literally behind the wheel, and metaphorically, James Dean has the opportunity to lock it up here in Utah with a full round left. It's never been done before in the 8-round history of Formula Drift.
Yeah, and to have 5 championships, that is 2 records broken in one event, and an incredible accomplishment. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves yet, because taking a look at this, Matt Field driving like an absolute demon all the way through. But here you see Dylan Hughes putting it in the pocket, and not making it easy for Mr. Field. Both drivers need to be very, very happy with the runs that they just put down. These are world class, and some of the best runs we've seen all weekend. Man.
Dylan Hughes there, the Royal Purple BMW. It looks like Royal P, scratched up, but rightfully so. He has done battle here today, and you can see the driver's side of Matt Field's Corvette. It has been battered and bruised as well, but here he is. And both these guys, 2 gladiators, toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel, door-to-door action. It has been one heck of a weekend, and it all culminates round 8. Regardless if we crown a champion or not, it's going to be an all-new round, an all-new facility. RIP Irwindale. We've been going there for 21 years, and now finally Irwindale has been leveled. We are no longer bringing competition to the final round of the House of Drift Irwindale. We're going to make history on the streets of Long Beach, called the Shoreline Showdown, because we begin on Shoreline, the street there, a signature street where many moons ago Formula One, IndyCar, Champ Car, back to IndyCar, and for numerous years, Formula Drift has been thrown down at the IndyCar track, and now we are purpose building a Formula Drift track, all new, just in the shadow of where we kick things off. So we're bookending it, Long Beach 1 and Long Beach 2, similar to that of Supercross. Here we go, one more time, and Dylan Hughes, and one more time. They're going at it again. That's the only way possible, but the fate is in James Dean's hand. Adam LZ in that chase position, you saw him. We'll review it, we'll look at the tail of the tape, but right now, all eyes are on James the Machine Dean. Will he be your 2025 Formula Drift Pro Champion? Adam LZ would love to take him down. Across the nose of that Ford Mustang goes the Drift HQ BMW. Into that inside clip, James Dean, a little tighter line. Now to outside zone 3 goes Adam. Big angle from Adam LZ. Hanging it all the way out there goes Adam. James Dean drops into formation. Watch the transition. One last outside zone for glory for James the Machine Dean. Does he get it done? We got wheels off. We got tires off. We have dirt action. Is that going to be a dusting? Done and dusted for James the Machine Dean. Did Adam LZ push too hard? Did James push LZ off track? Let's run it back as all drift fans across the world are watching. If James Dean locks it in, he is your 2025 Formula Drift Pro Champion and 5-time champion.
You can feel the collective breath hold right now as we wait for this replay to come up to understand what just happened between James Dean and Adam LZ, because obviously we saw Adam going out in the dirt, going rally spec. Was that because of contact? This is going to be it. Adam LZ out front, first outside zone, looks great. James Dean in tow, inside clip, solid. Outside zone 2, phenomenal from Adam LZ on a complete heater. A ton of angle into outside zone 3. James Dean barely able to hang on now, has to close up that gap. So much angle from Adam LZ, tries to fire it into outside zone 4. Adam starting to go wide, touches the dirt. Oh, and James Dean making contact just before the end of that run. Oh, we were hoping for something conclusive, but this just muddies the waters even more. Was Adam LZ already going off? Did James Dean push him off? What just happened, and how will that affect history and a potential 5-time champion? Adam LZ looks like he's going a bit wide. Touch of the brake there, and James Dean starting to close in. And a little tap. Tough go. Judges taking a lot of looks at this one because the weight of history is now on this decision.
I think that replay, that previous one, that really highlighted the scenario.
It did, and
without saying too much.
This is just a wild go, as we can see there. Adam officially going completely off course. Man, what a run.
They're watching from Ireland to Crandon to right here in Utah. James Dean. The fate now in the judges' hands. And if James Dean gets the win, he is your 2025 Formula Drift Pro Champion. He is the first to 5 and the first ever to lock it up with 1 round left to go.
Yeah, this is nuts. We're getting that BC Racing custom coilover side-by-side for sure. Definitely needed, because this is just a wild set of runs here. Man, it couldn't be simple. It couldn't be easy. Couldn't just be straightforward. It had to be something crazy like this, huh? That's just the way that this goes.
Utah, man, and this is the way it's been, I think, for the season. For the events we anticipate good driving, Long Beach, Atlanta, Seattle, they've delivered.
Yeah.
But rounds like Utah, Orlando, St. Louis, we kind of go in going like, oh, I don't ideally love the track. I don't know, it's this, it's that, it's weird. But here we go. Again, if James Dean gets the win, he is your 2025 Formula Drift Pro Champion. James the Machine Dean locks it up, and he is the official 2025 Formula Drift Pro Champion, the first to 5 championships and the first ever to get it done with still a remaining round. We have a full round left, and it's never been done in the history of the 8-stop champion. But now the win here in Utah and it's going to be a party in Long Beach as well to see who comes out second and third in the overall championship. Matt Field, the Beast of the Bay, Boiler Performance, Corvette, bang, slides it into the outside zone one, pass perfectly outside, or excuse me, inside clip one, the one and done. There goes Dylan Dozer once again. Oh, wow. This is a new one as well. We have a BMW on Corvette mounting him. Okay. Well,
oh my.
Let's make sure Matt's okay. And talk about a new one. Matt Field, thumbs up. Dylan Hughes, he mounts the Corvette.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Holy cow. I mean, you know, you could use expletive words like, I know Dylan was really trying to him, but not literally with car-on-car action.
Oh, big hug from these competitors. That is epic. That is absolutely epic. And you know what? At this point, I'm not shocked by any of this anymore. This is insane.
I mean, he is literally belly laughing.
What else do you do?
Let's get the in-car on that ASAP. Wow. Those fresh tires gripped up and shot him to the moon.
Holy cow.
Matt and Dylan are beside themselves. Let's run it back, Jacob. Dylan the Dozer, now the mounter.
Yeah, Dylan the Mounter Hughes. Oh, I hear a nickname change happening. And he is just barreling through on the chase. He is just going for it. I mean, outside zone 3, epic. They both get off, they make that connection. And next thing you know, there's a BMW on top of a Corvette. You'll be watching this highlight for years to come. Look at that, front wheel on front wheel. Shoots the hood off. Matt Field left to parallel park with that BMW on top. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to get sick of watching this. Man, look at this. Dylan Hughes coming in with speed, makes that first tap, and then just stays in it. Front wheel on front wheel, always does weird stuff. We've seen it time and time again. And there it is. Man,
you know, we've
both
seen
drivers
it,
already.
Ryan Turk with a bunny hop in Vegas many moons ago. Taka Ayano jumping. We've seen cars jump up in the sky. We've seen it all, but this staying on top of that Corvette. Well, we got movement. That's Dylan the Dozer Hughes talking with our judges and our staff. They said they're going to go back to the pits, assess the damage. Basically, Formula Drift staff needs to sign off on it. So basically, this is treated like contact. You know, but the conundrum is windshield. Need to inspect the cars. If they sign off on it, we will have the second half of the battle. Of course, the winner would go against James Dean in the final. If both cars are unable to run, essentially it would default to that lead run. Dylan was at fault. Matt would get the win. Matt would go to the finals. James would just basically have a by-run celebratory final battle. That's kind of the scenarios, how it's going to play out. But they're going to head back to the pits, get hands on the car, and make sure it is up to safety and satisfactory measure, and it'll get inspected by Formula Drift staff. So again, window and safety check, and coincidentally, none of the tires were debeaded.
Wild.
So,
I mean, that's a plus.
Yeah, you
Take
know.
it.
So yeah, the rumble strip, but can't park there. And there goes Dylan back. One of the lone standing pits. You know, it's interesting how, like Burning Man, you know, as the weekend goes on, they start to dwindle.
Yeah.
And now, it looks like he was just at Burning Man. This thing's thrashed up, banged up. The royal purple BMW would love to get to the finals. The one more time battle. Just tuning in, you have missed history. James Dean is your 5-time champion. He has made history by winning it with still another round left in Long Beach. Please join us, because I know it's going to be a barn burner. October 17th for seeding brackets, 18th for the finals for round 8 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. That is in Long Beach, California. It's a new track. And then history was made because we've seen cars jump. We've seen them catch air. We've seen them have crazy contact. Even James Dean, the photo that they put on his on social media has him jumping. But we've never seen him stay parked there.
No,
that was
no,
pretty
it's the first.
sensational.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing that replay quite a lot, pretty much everywhere. But I think the coolest part of this whole thing is that both cars drove away from it. What a massive testament to how well these cars are built, both from a safety and performance standard. And it's just really, really good to see that they're both okay, both personally and with the cars.
Wow. All right, so James Dean waits. Who he's going against is still to be decided. We have one half of the battle. Dylan Hughes was at fault because of the contact. We'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Who's going to the final? Hughes, Field goes against Dean when we come back.
Rubbing's racing for sure, but that in drifting, like collisions are so incredibly common. The other part too is that, you know, our hits look pretty bad, but there's not actually that much closing speed between the two cars. I mean,
you mean just like the rate of speed at time of collision?
Exactly. Yeah, it's only going to be, I mean, even with that, that's what, 2-3 miles an hour difference, but it was the front wheel on front wheel, and that's also something that doesn't happen a lot in other motorsports because not many other racing, you've got your wheel all the way cranked to the other side. So it does make for some very interesting scenarios. We saw one of the most interesting ones not that long ago.
Now, keep in mind, this is the second half of the battle. Both of them on GT radial tires and enter the Kumho tire burnout box. They will scrub those, finish it out. Dylan Hughes was at fault, and they did not complete that run. So now Dylan will be out front. He's got the fresh air. Sans the hood, it's even fresher. But Matt Field in the chase position. That boiler performance Corvette, even though heat wave is off the car, it's still on his face with those heat wave glasses. Both these guys rocking heat waves. So here we go, the second half of this battle royale. Dylan the Dozer Hughes out front, Matt Field in the chase position. Who's going to the finals against the newly crowned 2025 Formula Drift champion? Hughes or Field? There's Matt Field backing it up. Looks like you got a little eager beaver there.
Yeah, there's a line there that the chase car cannot supersede, and Matt Field just getting in the correct spot.
Sun is setting, and a new champion has risen. But who is he going against for the win here in Utah? Dylan the Dozer Hughes initiates outside zone 1. Past that inside clip into outside zone 2. Good execution. Dylan needs to let it all hang out because he is at fault. So now going to outside zone 3. Dylan right there. Matt Field stays in it. Now transition to outside zone 4. Dylan, a great lead run.
Yeah.
But again, just with the abbreviated first run, you have to assume that is going to go the way of Matt Field.
Yeah, always frustrating when you see after an incident like that, the driver at fault come back and lay down something super, super clean like we saw from Dylan Hughes. And the fact that they did not put hands on that vehicle. That's as it was after taking a surf ride on the top of a Corvette, and is still absolutely throwing through this run. Great job, filling all the zones, great transitions. Matt Field in the chase. I mean, he's keeping his distance for sure. And yeah, these drivers now coming back over the line, going through the smoke. Just a very, very ominous looking track right now. And another reason why it's so beautiful here.
Yeah, you know, Dylan, you could see throwing out some donuts there. I think he knows the fate here of the outcome.
Yeah.
But, you know, just doing it for the fans. And, you know, Dylan, of course, would want to be on the box. But, you know, and he did everything he could. But let's make it official. Slide him left for Matt Field or right for Hughes. And Matt Field unanimously gets the win. Matt Field locks it in. You know, makes it a perfect event as far as, you know, overall. You know, Matt won most recently in Seattle. The best he could do is second overall in the championship, but if he was to win here, that would definitely help him, but we still have. And what's crazy about Long Beach and ending there this year is it's a clean slate for everybody. Nobody knows the track, nobody has settings, nobody has, you know, previous data, all of that. So here we go, let's send it for the final time here in Utah. Matt Field, James Dean, let's send it! The Boiler Performance Corvette into that first outside zone. Look at, you can see all the suspension working. Now into that third outside zone goes Matt Field, James Dean. Keeps it off the door or lack of. Now going to this last outside zone goes Field and Dean. And look at that, yes, sir, crossing the finish line. Oh boy.
Not again.
That's not DB'd.
They're pretty quick at changing tires. I'll give them that. I'll give him that. But yeah, I mean, what a crazy way to get this wrapped up. And for a big suspension nerd like myself and yourself and everybody else watching, you get to see a Corvette in full action. I mean, we're lifting the veil on everything they got going on. So let's take a look at it. Matt Field out in the lead, James Dean following behind. Great initiation for both drivers. James does a good job of mirroring that out. Matt collecting that inside clip, second outside zone, looks phenomenal. James adding a ton of angle, waiting for Matt Field, lighting off. And you can see all the angle that Matt's able to put out there. You can check the Ackerman, you can look at all of it, and all of his beautiful alignment glory coming through our last outside zone here. Man, just a wild battle as Matt gets into that now. He's driving back out. I'm hoping that's a good sign that tire is still on. That divot did the track walk earlier, and it is quite deep, so I get it. But you can see every adjustment with Matt's hands, and it really shows on the wheels as well. And that shows you, I mean, how much work goes into making this look that easy. It's incredible. James Dean locked in all the way through. A little love tap at the very end, and hopefully nobody lost a tire. I'm seeing them both drive up, so hopefully that's a good sign. Matt Field looks like he's got a bunch of positive camber in the rear, though.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, Sopa taking a look.
He's got tires on it. Talking about negative camber. James Dean, his spotter. Got Scott over here.
I say just send it, but hey,
yeah.
I don't have to fix these things.
Yeah. Matt wants to win. You know, this is a must. You know, James is like, all right, cool. It'd be great. It'd be gravy, but no. Turn around. Turn around. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
All right, ripping around the second half of this battle. Yeah, looks like he's pulling up to the line. Sun drops behind the mountain range, and
what a shot.
This is absolutely picturesque. What a backdrop. What a setting. And what ascended. Here we go, the final battle. James Dean, Matt Field. James Dean, your 2025 and 5-time Formula Drift champion, trying to sweeten the deal with a victory here in Utah. Formula Drift elevated, pulls that front left off the ground, tunes it up, torques it up into that third outside zone. Matt Field would love to get the win and advance above Adam LZ and Frederick Osbo going into the final round. But James Dean, once again, dominant in the 2025 season. Matt Field on the inside, James drafting that line. Man, clinical, the doctor, the machine, living up to his name. James the Machine Dean, what a weapon.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And I mean, for Matt Field too, just a war of attrition, a car that is just, I mean, he's just beaten to heck and back, and he's still going through it. Not much left. That thing is going to require a full rebuild. Look at James Dean. Outside zone one, phenomenal. Second, inside clip of the left foot brake, nails it all the way through. Matt Field now punching through the smoke, hunting down James Dean. Who's kind of in and out of that zone a little bit, showing a bit of vulnerability in the lead. Matt Field just getting so close in the chase on transition, but does not let down. Look how much Matt is fighting that car just to stay in the side of James Dean, who's got a ton of angle and winds it out. Man, what a crazy way to wrap this up. Judges, I think they're already looking for that side-by-side. They got to break this down. That is not an easy call for two cars that have just seen absolute war all weekend.
Wow. What a run. All day.
All day.
All weekend. All day, all night.
Let's go, baby. And this, hopefully, maybe is our last BC Racing custom coilover side-by-side. As always, I like to look at the lead. James Dean actually off pace a little bit in the lead, not filling that whole zone. Matt Field crushing outside zone 3, transitioning into 4. How's it looking here? Pretty tight in comparison. The chases are pretty close. Matt Field almost superseding that of James Dean. Not an easy call for the judges. They're going to be looking at this. They're going to be checking this back. I guarantee it. That is not an easy call as we start to lose daylight very, very quickly here. Twilight is setting in, but the fans still sticking around because they want to know who takes home the championship. If you are sticking around, head over to the podium. We're wrapped up. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I know you got the podcast over there. We have our Pro Spec cocktail mixer, acknowledging the talented prospect drivers. I mean, what a field of talent that we saw this year. It was so great to see it mixed up. We thought it was 3 of Brudski, Cole Richards, and Chen, and then Talaska joined the conversation. Buchanan eventually got it. Absolute talent in prospect.
Yeah, Wild in prospect and Wild here on our potentially last run in pro. Let's take a look at the chase now. Who's got the better mimic? It's not just about proximity, but who can mirror both the line and the angle of that lead car. Very, very similar all the way through this. And this is where Matt Field's car starts to grip up, and he's really forcing it not to plow through the front of the Mustang.
Now the fight continues for 2nd and 3rd overall, and your winner here at round 7 in Utah. Again, October 17th and 18th, round 8 in Long Beach. Your winner at Burt Brothers Motor Park, round 7 FD Championship is unanimously James the Machine Dean is your winner and champion, 5-time champion, and 2nd place is Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay. Congratulations to James Dean, Matt Field, and Adam LZ, your 1, 2, and